Hello and welcome to episode 60, our 60th episode today for Wrong End of the Stick podcast with me, Zach Eaton, and the skipper, Jonathan Nimmo.
Hello.
Well, we've made it. Big 60.
Made it to 60? I know.
Yeah.
I feel 60. I don't know about you, but I definitely feel it.
After this year, I definitely feel
I
at least
think,
60.
Yeah, I definitely think we've aged this year, but more so than you'd expect, but there we go. But the good news is cricket's on its way back, sort of, in a manner of speaking, even though it didn't quite happen the way we wanted it to in South Africa. But,
yeah,
there we go. We've got a few bits on the agenda for today. It's going to be probably quite a quick episode, I think.
Yeah. I think we've got some good pieces to talk about. I'm especially looking forward to our main discussion topic today. I think it's going to be a good one.
I think it's going to be a good one too, and I don't know what your angle is going to be on it, but I think we've got some meaty stuff to get into. So we're going to talk. Well, our main debate is going to be about code and coded messages and secret signals and secret handshakes and all the rest of it that apparently England are employing to beat other teams at cricket by witchcraft or whatever else that they're being accused of.
Black magic.
Yeah, exactly. So so we're going to get into a little bit of is that in the spirit of cricket? It's a lovely debate we get into quite a lot, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll talk a little bit. Before that, we'll talk a little bit about what happened in South Africa and the fixtures that England have announced coming up, new tours and things that are coming up. And we have our new feature making its return, which is the Umpire Strikes Back. And this time you're going to challenge me as well as me challenging you, aren't you? So
yep, this is it.
So after the launch last week or so, which I'm slightly nervous about, I'm not going to lie. My career. I feel my career as a umpire might be in the line here.
Ooh,
so
be called into
could
question,
be in the balance. Yeah, it could be. So we'll talk very briefly first off about the fixtures which have been announced, the tours that have been announced for the coming year, which is nice just to have something to look forward to. I think going into Christmas break and things. So England are going to be going to Sri Lanka in January, which is exciting news. I mean, it's one of those places that I would love to go and watch England play. And particularly the first test is in Gaul. And I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of the Gaul cricket ground, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's a stunning ground. And it's like there's a castle and the sea, and it's absolutely stunning ground. It's probably on my bucket list of places I want to watch cricket. So yeah, definitely worth looking up that one. So that's going to be a nice little quick 2-test tour. And then England are off to India in February. March actually.
Okay.
And so they're going to play, I think, a 4-test series out there, and then some T20s and ODIs and all kinds of stuff out there. So they're going to be over in India right the way through February and March, basically. So they're going to be out there.
That's quite a meaty tour. It sounds like.
Yeah, it's a really
tests, ODI,
really long one. Yeah, really long one, which will be nice. It'll be interesting to see how they get on there. To be honest, I'm not hopeful for that one. I don't know about you. I think England could get badly beaten in a big way throughout that series.
Yeah, I mean, India being consistently one of the best kind of teams, I'm not sure how much the pandemic has affected, globally, professional sports teams around the world. In cricket, I know that there's been a lot of kind of restrictions in place with travel and, health and safety and stuff, but it seems, like there's a lot of kind of barriers and curveballs due to it, and I wonder what team, is going to have handled it sort of better, and India being a strong team anyway. Not that I'm making excuses for anything at all.
I like it. I get the excuses in early. I like it.
That's it. But I think it's quite difficult, especially when you're going over, somewhere to, it can be quite disruptive, can't it?
It can, and I guess part of the extra sort of element that we don't know, because England will likely struggle in India because of the playing conditions, because they always do. I think any visiting team to India struggles to a certain extent, just because it's new and different conditions to anywhere else in the world. But the fact that it's in February and March, I can't imagine that the COVID situation is going to be changed a huge amount there at the moment. And I know India, from friends we've got out there, India has it pretty badly. So what that's going to do to England in terms of they're probably not going to get much prep time in terms of playing against other teams, because it's going to be so complex and expensive, with all the bio bubbles and all the rest of it that they have to set up. And they're not going to want to risk a cancellation as we've seen in South Africa, which we'll get to in a second. But so that's probably going to hamper England's preparation, you would think, because it's not going to be easy to do, and it's. I can't imagine that the vaccine's going to have helped change the situation in that short a time span. So I think once we look further ahead to sort of the English summer and because India are coming back to England in the summer as well, which will be interesting. At that point, things I think will be a lot different potentially, and hopefully it means that we'll get some tickets and go and see some stuff as well.
Yes.
But I think for England and India, I think it's going to be a really, I don't know. I think I could see that being a really tricky series, and I can see it being a bit of a whitewash to India, to be honest.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, the last kind of test performances we've seen from England earlier in the year, I feel like England anyway, irrespective of the pandemic as well, they've got all like these really kind of talented up and comers in the team, and some real existing sort of talent, and some of which I think are not on the way out but sort of phasing out. I think it's the start of a new team, a new England kind of team and push. But I don't think, with everything going on, the beginning of the year at least, especially with England going over to India, I'm not sure what results are going to come of it, with India being as strong as they are. But we'll wait and see. It's still keeping a lot of players warm with the IPL and stuff. So, there's a lot of cricket going about, irrespective of everything. So, see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. But just as we did briefly touch on there, so the England were meant to be down in South Africa right now, but that tour has been cancelled. There've been a number of COVID cases, and basically it's it's all been called off, and it wasn't safe. I think there were people, members of hotel staff, that had tested positive and things, and basically there was a bit of an outbreak, and that called the whole thing off, which is really unfortunate to see. And I know apparently South Africa are going to struggle financially because they were really needing the TV money and things that they were going to get from that, which is unfortunate. But I suspect it's probably not going to be the last time that happens around the world. But it was unfortunate. But yeah, so it's a shame to see that. But and I think that's one other thing that I did see, which I thought was interesting, was because it's coming to the end of the year, there's like Sports Personality of the Year votes and things coming up, and I think the team that were certainly given if it wasn't like the team of the year, they were given like a special award, was the West Indies team, and they were given that for coming over to England in the midst of the pandemic and still playing and getting that series up and running. And I think the cancellation of England and South Africa just shows, how amazing it was that the Windies managed to come over and have such a really good and interesting series, didn't it? So so I think that's good. But one thing did come out of the couple of games that were managed to be played before it did get called off. I mean, there were 3 T20s that were played, and England won them all, but we won't go into them too much. But the interesting thing that did come out of this was England's secret codes and the coded messages. So if you haven't seen this, basically what happened was during I think it was the final one that was played, England are out fielding, and Owen Morgan directing affairs as captain on the pitch, and one of the, I think he was an analyst, I don't know exactly who it was, but yeah, one of the analysts for England was sat on the team balcony and puts a big code up for Owen Morgan to see, and it was like 4E or 4F or something like that, wasn't it? It was basically a number and a letter. And these were coded messages that were being relayed to Owen Morgan during the match, and that's caused some uproar, mostly among Australians who don't like it, but yeah, who were saying it's against the spirit of the game. I'm sure it's not just Australians. I'm sure there's other people out there that think it, but yeah. So where do you sit on that one, Zach? With are these coded messages during the game? Are they against the spirit of the game?
Mm, well, for me, just off the bat, it's no.
Hmm.
And the reason why I say it's no is because, like, we don't know too much about specifics about what the codes are going to be about. But
Yeah, it's true. It might just be what do you want for lunch? It could be,
well, that's it. Yeah, what's for tea?
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
and just the code means it's ham and mustard.
yeah,
Don't worry
exactly.
about it.
Yeah, it's like right. We're not declaring. We're staying out. Then I don't like that.
So
So,
yeah,
it could be, but I mean, the likelihood is it's something to do with how you should bowl, who you should bowl next, who
yeah.
that kind of thing is the assumption of. That's probably what these messages are.
Mm.
Um, so it's an interesting one. I mean, it's led to some people saying, well, it's taking that power away from the captain who's meant to make those decisions on the field. That's the role that you have as a captain. It's they're meant to see the game and read it, and that's part of the challenge of a captain's role is to be making those decisions, you know, as
I
as the game unfolds.
Yeah, but no, because I get that, and people could say that all they want, but in any sport, in football, American football, hockey, the coaches and the leadership team will always be kind of analysing, letting their substitutes know, shouting, on to people on the pitch for direction. The fact that cricket there isn't a lot of shouting and a lot of uproar during play doesn't mean that those kind of interactions between the players and their coaches, since the cricket team isn't just based on those 11 men that are out there, it's based on what you are as a team, the coaches, the physios, the analysts, the managers in any sport.
Hmm.
Strategy is, although the captain at that time on the field, during play is coordinating,
Mhm.
that information does come from conversations and strategies from the managers and coaches and leadership team. So
It
I
it
think,
does, and I think that's the thing to think of it is that this has always been happening. It's always just happened before the game anywhere.
mm,
You've always had it. Oh well, this guy doesn't like being bowled to on his leg side, so that's
yeah,
and these are conversations that would have happened anywhere. Um, and I think the other thing to think of, which it kind of undermines the whole not in the spirit of the game, is these messages used to get out anyway
yeah,
because you would have a drinks break and
yeah,
people bringing the drinks break out would give messages, or somebody would ask for a different bit of equipment and the batsman would ask for a bit of equipment and messages would be sent out there, or somebody would just be out on the boundary if you're fielding and just giving messages in that way. So I think this has always happened. This is just a slightly more efficient way of doing it. And
yeah. I
yeah,
used to think some players used to ask for gloves a hell of a lot during
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Be like,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the thing. I mean, these messages do get out there, and I think I mean, I believe, and I think it's a while ago now, but I think in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s or something, that South Africa tried to have something with earpieces so they could talk directly to the players on the pitch, and that was ruled to be not in the spirit of the game.
mm.
And I think I don't know, is that the limit? Should
Well,
that be allowed? I don't know. American footballers all have earpieces on where the coaches can talk to them in the midst of the game, but is that too far? Is that where your limit is?
I think there's not a lot that you can do in American football during play that it's a very stop and start style of
Mm.
game, which is exactly the same in cricket. So it's really tricky because I don't think it just seems like if they're going to do it, it should be accessible to everybody. Maybe the issue is accessibility to codes. No one likes secrets.
Mm.
But at the same time, you as a team have to make sure that your strategies and your way of playing that is going to, give you the edge is kept a secret from the opposing side, and whether that you're discussing it in the locker room or you're discussing it kind of out on the field blatantly, but outside of earshot, or someone's putting, a coded message on the balcony instead of doing hand signals, or, doing a little kind of contemporary dance up there. I think
yeah, that's what they have in baseball, isn't it? They give you tip the hat, then it means this, and if I touch my elbow, you do that. It's exactly the same thing, isn't it? Really,
it is. But I just think, the British team being, absolutely British, will just be a bit pragmatic about it. Put it on the piece of paper.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's all good.
And that's it. And I think I had two other sort of follow-up questions, but I mean, my general view is that it's not really against the spirit of the game. These messages get out anyway, and I don't really mind how that works, But the one thing that I was thinking of is if Owen Morgan had looked at that message, done something radically different to what he had been doing, and the game went horribly wrong, and England ended up losing. Does that take away the responsibility from him that he's just followed that message?
No.
Do you think that alters the responsibility of the captain at all?
No,
or do you think it would give him an out? Be like, oh, well, yeah, but I followed that, so, that's
no,
not
this
really.
This is the thing. Like, the coaches and the leadership teams that are involved, they can present those codes and say, okay, do this. As a captain, this is where your responsibility does lie. And it's not about stripping responsibility from the captain. They would have had conversations with Owen beforehand about, what to do, and been in a kind of tacit agreement of, okay, I'm going to put this up, and then, this is what this means, and that. As a captain on the field, it's your responsibility to, coordinate the game based on, what you're noticing in the players, what you're noticing, there's a more direct kind of feel to what's going on with the batsman, is that kind of sledging getting to him a bit, so I'm just going to ignore that kind of bit of code for now and keep doing what I'm doing. I've been made a suggestion to move the field this way, but actually just had a chat with Archer or whoever.
That's exactly what the ECB came out and said, and they said that, look, we're just giving them information. It's none of the decision making is changing. That still lies with the captain on the field, and that's absolutely where that is. And he's free to ignore that information if he wants it. We're just giving that information to him, which I think is entirely fair.
Yeah. Morgan's too long in the tooth to be seen by, and if the international community is saying, well, the responsibility is off the captain, and as if Morgan's some kind of puppet. This guy is a solidified England captain.
He is, yeah. I think the fear would be if it was a less like a more junior captain, shall we say, or somebody new into the job, and there was a lot of this going on. But I guess my final thing is that I've seen in some places where people, and I have a very I've got an answer to this, but I'm intrigued to see what your thought is that they're saying that if this is happening, that what they want is that to not happen below a certain age group, because they don't want it to affect the young players and I think that the accusation was that it might stop young players thinking for themselves, and therefore it should be banned from like under 16s or something. What's your thought on that one?
I think if whatever age you are, and not that I'm nearly as kind of athletic or as I once was, whatever age that you are playing a sport, you are constantly receiving feedback and information from your coaches, teachers, physios. All of that needs to kind of be considered. And it doesn't matter if you're sprinting 100 meters or you're in a sport. If you are playing at a professional level, at the high end level within your age range, irrespective of age, that's part and parcel of what it is anyway. You are influenced completely by those that understand the game and are coordinating the team that you're playing in, or coordinating you on behalf of whatever. So, I think for me, actually, it's not a case of we don't want kids to be, or younger players to have that responsibility taken away from them, because it's not about that. It's more about, for them, empowering them to understand the game themselves and to make those mistakes themselves and to learn strategies by themselves.
That's my thought as well. I was like, giving people information, whether they take that and it goes well, or they don't take it, it goes wrong, or any combination of those, that's still like a learning thing for me. Like when you're learning to drive, your driving instructor will tell you to stop at a red light. That doesn't hinder me from, in future when I'm driving on my own, to see a red light and think, oh, should I stop or not? I don't know. No, I know I should stop at that. So I don't see the issue with that personally. But I know that's been some people's opinions on it. But yeah, I don't see that one. I think it's giving people extra information, and they're choosing to do what they want with that. And depending on what choice they make, it will go well or badly or whatever, and they will learn from that scenario no matter what. So yeah, I don't see it as a
no, I don't.
issue. I think it's. I mean, to be honest, I think it's sparked quite so much debate because we've had so long without cricket, and there isn't still a lot of cricket not happening. I think people are just wanting something. They're wanting some form of debate about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my thing with I would totally agree with that last comment. For me, I think if you're and I say this and I stand by it. I think anybody that's saying, the code's not good for the kids, and like you say, picking something apart, must be ignorant of what's going on just in all sports at all ages anyway.
Exactly.
At high end.
At that point, it's like saying you shouldn't tell any kids what to do. You shouldn't give them any sort of coaching because it'll stop them thinking for themselves. Well, that's ludicrous. So, it's just, I don't know.
That's competitive sports. Like it's, that's what it is.
So, yeah, exactly. I think we're actually on the same page on that one. We managed to keep that debate going quite a while, given we both pretty much agree on that.
I think there's really good points and you could go. I think both of us could go either way on some of them, depending on how far we took it, because it is sort of interesting. I think the overall question, though, is it in the spirit of the game, as far as I can see so far. And I think, as you say, you're in agreement. I don't think it is.
You don't think it's against the spirit of the game?
No, I don't think so.
No, that's good. Yeah. Good. Excellent times. Well, shall we go into our new feature?
We shall.
Well, it's second week, and it's the Umpire Strikes Back.
That's it. We need some kind
I definitely feel like I need an entrance music. I need to get that sort of for next time out.
Darth Vader's walk, I think. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, it's probably copyrighted. I'm probably just, we're probably going to get sued now. But there you go.
Can we get a lightsaber sound, maybe?
I'm sure you're bound to have one on your phone, aren't you?
I do have an app on my phone, I think, somewhere.
Yeah. Right. So, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first this week?
I think you go first because you've done one already.
I have,
and I don't want to accidentally give you the answer, so I want to listen to it.
I will go first. So this is where we are going to give each other a bit of an out there umpiring situation, and we're going to challenge them to see what they would do and to see how correct or how incorrect we are. So I am going to give you, it's almost a maths-based one for you, Zach, so we'll see how you get on with this one. So for this one, the batsmen have hit a shot and they've completed 4 runs. So they've run 4. Well, yeah, I know that's alien to you, but
yeah, that's ridiculous.
Running that far. At that point, the fielder has picked up the ball and thrown it back towards the wickets.
Yep.
The ball has struck the wicket-keeper's helmet. The wicket-keeper isn't wearing his helmet at this point. He's just on the ground behind it. He's playing a spinner, so he doesn't need his helmet on. So it hits the helmet, and then it deflects off the helmet over the boundary. How many runs are you going to give in this scenario?
13.
Incorrect, but I love the confidence with which you gave that. I think that's brilliant. Would you like to explain where your 13 came from?
Yes. Okay. So they've run 4, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And those runs have been completed.
Yeah.
The ball is then coming in.
Yeah.
And hits an object on the field, which I think is 5 runs.
You are definitely right with that one, which is good umpiring knowledge. That is definitely 5 runs. So well done on that one.
So, and then it hits the object and then goes to the boundary. So I think where I might have been incorrect here is that once it's hit the object, that 5 runs then stops and it's a dead ball. But obviously, I think that's probably the way that we're going. So it would have been 9, but I thought that if it went over the boundary, they would have been awarded an additional 4.
You are absolutely spot on with your reasoning when you've explained it. So yes, it is 9 runs. So yeah, it's
Okay.
4 runs for what they've run, and then as soon as it hits their helmet, the ball is dead. It's 5 runs. It's an additional 5 runs, but the ball is dead after that. So you can't score anything else after that. And they couldn't be run out after that. Nothing else could happen after that, effectively.
Yeah, yeah.
So but there you are. So you were, I mean, to be honest, with your talking through it, you've actually got to the right answer, which is often the way with umpires, I'm sure. So there you go. So that's 9 runs. Good work.
Oh, I'm pleased for that.
Definitely giving you half a point for that one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
To be honest, if you thought it through first, you might have got there rather than you jumped in with a 13 really quickly.
Well, you said math, and I was too focused on adding up all the numbers in my head and be like, it's 13, yes. I've added up 3 single-digit numbers.
Well, there you go. Well, right. So you definitely get half a point for that one. So
I'll take it. Okay, so we will go for. Okay, we'll go for this one. Actually, yeah, this is a good one because this is something that I would do. So you are the umpire.
Yep.
A batsman drives the ball right at you, and instinctively you catch it.
Yeah, I would still do that as well. In fact, I've almost done that. Just as a little aside, and I've gone at square leg, and someone's hit the ball, and it's come towards me. I've reached out to try and stop it, and I'm like, no! I thankfully didn't get anywhere near the ball, but that was my instinct, which is terrible. But anyway,
That's it. So, I mean, you've caught it. Everyone's looking around.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Oh God! Now, that's tricky. I don't know. It's my honest answer, but my guess would be I think it's probably going to go one of 2 ways. It's either going to just be a dead ball and that's it, or you're going to give 5 runs, because I think you might treat the umpire pretty much the same way you treat the helmet. You know, if it hit me and that was it, I think that would be 5 runs to the batting side. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go and say it's 5 runs because I think I'm just treated the same way as an object would be treated.
Okay.
So I think 5 runs to the batting side.
Well, I can say you were close, but unfortunately you were wrong. Your logic was so there between the dead ball and 5 runs, and I thought you would have gone for the dead ball, but no, it was in fact the dead ball.
Oh, damn it! Oh, I was so close to going for that as well.
Yeah. So the fact that the ball was stuck in your hand is unfortunate. It's a reflex reaction. You have to immediately call and signal dead ball. You have to explain to everybody the embarrassing, of course, which is already embarrassing. That caught it. Sorry, lads. Dead ball, and then move on.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought the umpire might be treated in the same way as
I think I would have probably
as an object on the field. Yeah. But yeah, I think it had to be one or the other. But damn, I was beaten there. But I was close. I feel like I was almost there. I
think you get
took the wrong choice at the end. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll take that. Oh dear. Right. I think that probably wraps us up for today, doesn't it?
I think that does. Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening, everyone. If you would like to get in touch, if you want to weigh in on the coded message debate, please do so. You can get in touch with us at Instagram or Twitter at Wrong End Podcast, or you can email us at wrongendofthestick@hotmail.com. Give us a nice 5-star review wherever you listen, and thank you very much for listening. And we will be back. Will we be back before Christmas, or is this going to be it for Christmas now, Joe?
God, it's so difficult to say. Such volatile waters at the moment.
It is. We might squeeze one more in before Christmas. You never know. So
Christmas special.
Watch this space for a Christmas special, and but if we don't, then
be a New Year special.
Yeah, have a lovely Christmas, everybody, and we will see you again soon. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Take care, everyone. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.